I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball, wherever that may be. I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
Jimmy Butler's time is looking like it's coming to an end with the Miami Heat after the Heat suspended him for 7 games due to conduct detriments, especially with the last few weeks. We've seen the press conferences, we've seen clips from both sides, and it looks like the Jimmy Butler era is done.
It's literally started when, obviously it was happening all year. That is true.
Contract disputes.
Yeah. But then when Pat Riley came out and said, we're not going to trade Jimmy Butler, and that's when Jimmy Butler elevated his toxicity and can't say that word properly ever. But overall, and then obviously we had his comments of not wanting to get joy in Miami, basically. All that stuff leading up to kind of what he did in Minnesota, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring that up later, and we'll bring up the teams where he should be going. I'm just going to say right now, Ring Warriors get on the line, essentially. That's the biggest one, but we'll go into that later. I just want to go talk about the timeline of this event and Jimmy Butler's career as a thing, because it confuses me a little bit with like how Jimmy Butler goes through this, because outside of winning the big thing, the championship, he is relatively known as a winner across the league, wherever he went. Chicago Bulls, he led them to the playoffs even after the D-Rose era, etc. Right? Minnesota, the only playoff appearance at that time they had came with Jimmy Butler. After that, they were bad until obviously recent memory. He goes to Philly, the quadruple bounce happened with the shirt you're wearing here. But who knows what happened? That was like the best Philly team under the trust the process era. And then when he went to Miami, we're a little confused. Like, why would he go to Miami? He doesn't have much help. He literally not just by himself, but was a big reason why they went to 2 NBA championships finals, and then ended up obviously losing those to the Lakers and the Nuggets respectively. But so it baffles me that like he gets moved around like this. Is there stuff behind the scenes we don't know about? Maybe. I cannot say. Neither can you. But wherever he goes, it's just like you want this guy on your team, but the toxicity levels always arise somewhere.
The thing is this, right? Like when you're looking at, it's like a cycle, right?
Yeah.
He comes in, he makes an impact, he's doing good, he's playing well, the team's playing well and all that stuff. But the moment things go bad, it just goes like really downhill.
Yeah.
There's no, like, it doesn't, like once something negative happens and then it just plummets all the way to the ground. And that's what happened in Minnesota, and he wanted out. And now that's what's happening now right here in Miami.
So the timeline of this Miami Heat, which I think is very important, is essentially he joins the Miami Heat, was really good. And this year he was up for a contract extension, which he did not end up getting. Before even the contract extension talks, Jimmy Butler, yes, like he's a confusing guy to analyze, because when the playoffs, you could think of him as a superstar, but when it's regular season or whatever, you think of him as a regular star, which you don't know what category to put him on. And this past year, he did not play in the playoffs, or he was injured in the playoffs as well. And he does make comments like, if I was there, we would have won, right? Like, it was against the Knicks, I believe, that first round matchup last year.
It was Celtics.
Celtics. If he was there for the Celtics, he said he would have won that matchup, and then Ben went on to beat the Knicks.
And it's kind of believable.
Yeah, which is fair, right? And whatever. Like, but then it's like, well, you didn't play, so why are you talking, right? So then, which led Pat Riley, which this was a match made in heaven team for like both sides, comes out and says pretty much shut up and dribble, right? Like you shouldn't be talking. You should not, you're not playing. You shouldn't be talking. Blah blah blah. So that's where everything started going downhill. Fast forward to this year. The Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler have been doing fine, right? Like I said, the Miami Heat will make the playoffs because Jimmy Butler wants to show like a FU type of year, like pay me whether to Miami or to anyone else. I'm right for the wrong reasons. They are top 6 at the moment, but it's led by Tyler Hero offensively for the main part. Obviously, Bam defensively. Jimmy Butler has played only 22 games. His shooting splits are fine, but it's at 17 points per game, right? So that's the overall timeline. Fast forward now, Shams reported he wanted out. Pat Riley, as you mentioned, said, no, we're not trading him. The agent and Shams are beefing, and now it's all official because the Heat said we are trading him in their thing.
It's simple as this, bro. Like the moment, like he wanted out.
Yeah.
Right? There's no debate about that from the beginning. He wanted out. And the moment they're like, no, we're not going to trade you. That's where he went, full Minnesota blow. That's the Jimmy Butler we're seeing right now. And it's basically like the Harden hissy fit, right? As what I like to call it. This is the second time doing it too. So it is confusing. Obviously, when you're seeing it like, on the court, you don't ever see like Jimmy Butler, like, not try, I guess, until really now. where
Well, we saw-
he's not. I'm not saying he's not trying, but like in terms of like putting effort, but I'm talking about like in his involvement and his participation of the game.
Here's what's confusing me. It's not confusing me that Jimmy Butler requested a trade. I'm gonna actually flip it. I'm confused by the Heat. This is the one guy that is like took you to the finals since the LeBron, D Wade, Bosh era, right? The big three Heat era where they ended up winning 2 out of 4 championships together. This case, like, listen, clearly Miami Heat are a cutthroat franchise. They literally let go of Dwayne Wade at one point. Because there was an issue, right? And they corrected that mistake later down the line. The reason why I'm confused is because I don't blame too much of Jimmy Butler. Maybe he could have handled things professionally, but there were reports that he was going to handle it professionally. But then, like, obviously Pat Riley said what he said in terms of we're not trading him. Then he took the next step, right? But the reason why I'm confused is this: Jimmy Butler's given this all, right? When Jimmy Butler first signed with the Heat, many people are like, why would he sign with the Heat? There's no one really there. He's just there to get paid. He proved everybody wrong by taking him outside of 1 year of getting swept by Giannis, conference finals minimum, right? The reason why, like, you've seen reports these past couple of years, they're in on Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard wants the Heat, not done. Bradley Beal, not done. So he's pretty much asking for help because the fact that he got you this far and proved all the doubters wrong that way, did not provide the help.
Yeah, just proves that you're like, it feels like you're one piece away, and you not providing that help is obviously one, hurting the team and the chances to win, but two, hurting Jimmy Butler because he's not getting any younger. Right?
Exactly.
His production's not going to stay at this level for much longer.
Like, at the end of the day, but the finals appearances he had, the Lakers was 4-2, but one of the games was Jimmy Butler went superhero mode, right? Played every single minute, the game 5.
Yeah.
And then obviously 4-1. Like, eventually he's going to tire himself out too.
And it's known to happen. Like, as the playoffs goes long,
saw it with Luka.
Jimmy Butler does tend to slow down. Obviously, that first round was absolutely, like, he starts off really hot in the first round. Same as second round, third round is really good. Some unsung hero like that year was
Caleb
Martin in the Boston series.
Yeah.
And then in the final, there's like, the team slows down because they just don't have enough at the end.
Exactly, right? So, like, to me, like, I get it. Maybe you're like, oh, the whole combining superstars is not working as much recently as it did when you had the big three. But Jimmy Butler alone, like, at the end of the day, he's not at the Jokic level, in my opinion. He is that tier below. But in the playoffs, he is that guy if you give him another piece that steps up with him. Because unfortunately, Bam offensively has been okay. Like, he's not aggressive offensively.
And then Hero is like injured.
And he was injured. And then, but like, yeah, now he's playing like an all-star level. So that's all the Jimmy Butler side of things. Why we think that, maybe it is right for him to leave, because I don't feel like he got the fair share of what he provided to the Heat. So it's not like Harden, essentially, I guess what I'm trying to say.
It is a hissy fit. It is the Harden hissy fit. I'm not saying he is Harden, but it is the Harden hissy fit he is throwing. Second time he's doing it. But that's all done because he is going to move on.
Yeah.
But where? Where would you like to see Jimmy Butler?
I'm going to just get it off. Like I said, we'll get to the obvious thing, because we might even title this video Golden State Warriors Get on the Phone, because we made a Golden State Warriors, which you guys should check out, of why they have been struggling after a really good start. They need to get on the phone. Now, especially he's a distressed asset, the value is even lower. Like, you didn't have to go out. Maybe there's a bidding war. Maybe there is one, right? Because before the original report Shams put out, before this all happened recently, was Jimmy Butler wants to leave, but he wants to leave for Houston, where he's from, Dallas, Golden State, Phoenix, right? And now it's pretty much said anywhere but Miami. He thinks he can make anyone a contender. I disagree. If he goes to Washington, he's not going to be a contender.
Make the Raptors a contender.
but going to that, like, Golden State needs to get on the line, right? That what we talked about it with the Western Conference, with the Sacramento Kings video that we dropped, right? Who, ironically enough, on a 3-game win streak since we dropped that video. But when we made that video, we talked about how close everyone is, minus the Thunder.
Exactly. The West is obviously very tight, and he basically is a better Andrew Wiggins, if he's on his game. As simple as that.
Which is what you said in that Golden State. Yeah.
And again, Steph's going to space the floor out for you. Jimmy Butler's not the greatest of 3-point shooters, but when he gets
when
inside...
you have Steph Curry, you're fine.
And when he has Steph Curry, obviously he doesn't have to rely on his three. When he gets inside inside the 3-point line, he is a good mid-range guy. He's good at the rim finishing as well.
And could play defense.
And then obviously, he's clamps. And him and Wiggins as your wing defenders... Potentially,
well, assuming
they make the money work and they keep
Draymond,
it.
you could say,
but like guaranteed him and Draymond depending if they play Draymond center or not, though.
Yeah,
That-
to me, Golden State's a match made in heaven. Steph's not getting younger. When Steph is playing aggressive and Steve Kerr gets the minutes right, if he even gets those minutes right, we've seen what Steph could do. The Christmas game against the Lakers, I watched it. He was in sensational the last couple of games. Like, yes, we are seeing a little bit of a decline from Steph in terms of, like, there's multiple games in a row, where he may not hit a 3-pointer or his percentages are very low. But once you give him a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's now, think about it, when he went to Philly, from Minnesota to Philly, he was motivated as hell. It's just Philly were stupid to pay Tobias Harris over him, right?
Exactly, yeah.
In this case, like, you think he's not gonna be motivated to show the league, like,
he's pissed.
Yeah,
He's pissed. At the
And
end.
what better time to do it? Because listen, as much as I believe that the OKC Thunder right now, no one is close to them. Maybe the Denver Nuggets at the moment, if everything works,
If they figure it out,
if they
yeah.
figure their stuff out. It's like, anyone could still be at least challenge the Thunder, in my opinion, from the Lakers, from the Clippers when Kawhi is officially back now, the Nuggets I mentioned, and all these teams, the Warriors, even like the young teams like the Rockets and
Yeah,
Grizzlies.
he makes everyone better.
Yeah.
But for us, Golden State's number 1. But number 2, I like Houston, obviously, just in terms of they're a young squad, right? And I know they have, Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks on those pretty big contracts. But if you get in a Jimmy Butler to, be the veteran leader, and he has a consistent young sport,
Yeah.
based on this year's evidence, and that's his hometown, and he's trying to prove, and he's like pissed off, try to prove everyone wrong, Jimmy Butler, and we know that Jimmy Butler is freaking amazing. This Houston team could take a jump. But the thing is, how much they're going to mortgage their
Exactly.
future.
The thing is, like, I feel like when you say the young team, I go back to Minnesota, I'm like, but then that is because Cat showed he is somewhat soft. Wiggins, obviously, they kind of clashed a little bit. Even with the Golden State, I want to go back to one thing though. Like, as much as a man made in heaven, and the clams with Draymond will be insane. And I know they play Team USA together, but we know what Draymond's history is when it comes to players. Like, he got Kevin Durant out of town a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
As well. And Jimmy Butler ain't Kevin Durant mentality in terms of, like,
But this is like,
mentality
look at
in
it
terms
this
of as
way.
a person, not like as a
Butler
player.
doesn't have to sign an extension with them.
True.
This is just to go trade
Fair,
and
yeah.
try to make this year happen.
How
Realistically it's gonna be, like, Curry's gonna slow down, Draymond's slowing down, or Draymond already been slowing down.
But he's still playing really good defense.
Yeah,
And
they don't have to sign them if it is an issue.
Yeah.
Whereas Houston, they have young guys. In my opinion, they do play
But,
hard,
so
right?
that's the
I
key.
like Jalen Green has been better. I like Sengun, right? And this is a chance where he's going to sign an extension because he's from there as well. And this is a team that, at the end of the day, when you're looking at it, we saw Thunder make some moves to get some couple of veteran pieces. They may not be like, the biggest names, like obviously Crusoe and all that stuff, but leadership and being a vet is important. And getting Jimmy Butler, who's playoff experienced, playoff performer, is going to be a big step for this big step for this young team.
My only concern with that is, like, obviously it's a risk if you don't trade for him because he might sign an extension or sign with the Warriors right away, right? Or any other team that trades for him. So I get that point. Maybe they could wait for free agency as well because we don't know what he wants to command. If, like, I agree with you, Houston is the spot. Again, the scary part is the younger, but I feel like he'll fit the Ime Udoka mold, like that type of culture. But, like, yeah, I mean, listen, Jalen Green has not shown the second overall pick. Like, he's been up and down in his career. He's probably going to be part of this trade. I'm going to be straight up with you.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's been playing better though.
he's been, yeah, but
I'm not saying he's number 2 overall pick, but
but I'm saying, like, he's up and down.
He's been worse.
So my point is, like, he's gonna be part of this trade, in my opinion, at least, because, like, again, he's not.
Oh, obviously you're gonna have to give up some young assets. Don't be wrong. Like, you're still gonna have Sengun.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have Jabari Smith, right? And then
Again,
Van Vliet's gonna be off the books in a year, right?
Yeah.
So
even I hear, like, Rockets fans saying, "Hey, try to bring back Van Vliet because, like, he fits there so well."
He does
right?
fit there, yeah.
Like, even with the Warriors, like, don't try not to trade Kuminga. You might have to throw in Wiggins because of the contract, or you might have to throw in a mix of, like, Healed, who's struggling there as well. Here on the flip side, one of Dylan Brooks probably should be a Dylan Brooks in my opinion because that's the overall spot he might take. Jalen Green might be thrown in there. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think Jabari Smith should be thrown in there. I know he's injured at the moment, but, like, they have their backup duo guard of Thompson and Tari are locked down themselves,
exactly,
right?
yeah.
They could elevate to a starting role if need be for a guy like Jalen Green or whatever. But yeah, so the Rockets are one team for obvious reasons. There in a second. The other teams I thought I'm gonna bring up slightly I did think of were first the Memphis Grizzlies. Listen, they are kind of a grit and grind culture. I feel like he fits that culture. And I don't think he might clash heads there. But I
Yeah.
feel like they need to go out and like trade a bunch of assets to get him. No, but I wouldn't mind him
How
seeing
much?
that there.
How much is it gonna remind him of the Chicago Bulls? A hella athletic point guard that gets injured a lot, but a hella athletic point guard, that's the star of the team. Him coming in, they play a hard nosed game. He's a hard nosed player and all that stuff. So yeah, the grind culture is there. The shit talking culture is there as well, and then obviously Jimmy Butler fits that perfectly.
I
as
feel
well.
like it fits it well because of you said Jaw's injury trouble as well, right? Like
Yeah,
yes,
they're gonna
when
need-
Jaw
they're-
has been injured in the past,
Yeah.
they've been fine without him.
At the end of the day,
If they're healthy,
they've been
sorry.
okay, but last year was a bit,
Everybody was injured.
yeah,
Yeah,
everyone was injured.
But-
you have Desmond Bain, who's like obviously decent, but like I'd rather have Jimmy Butler as a second option and
Yeah.
Desmond Bain as a third option.
Yeah, right. And then so that was one team I thought of. Another team I thought of was Dallas. I don't know if like part of me like if he fits that small forward role, but the problem is Luka needs the ball, right? Kyrie needs the ball. Obviously Clay's gonna be off the ball, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler might need the ball here and there. Like you don't want him
Exactly.
to be a guy, even though he
That's the
said.
thing.
The reason why I bring him up because he said he wanted Dallas, so maybe he could work some things out.
It's still like you're gonna add a guy who's a good defender, which is what Dallas always needs.
Yeah.
Right. With Luka and Kyrie being on the court, and
then-
people actually trying to get Luka to guard their best player of those pick and roll situations, which we saw the Celtics do in the finals. Obviously for the Dallas Mavericks, they want Klay Thompson type players and not Jimmy Butler type players. But at the end of the day, if I know he's not the type of guy to take a step back, but if he does, he's gonna work. Simple as that.
You'll have like three guys that could take over a game at any
Exactly.
moment.
Yeah.
The question is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because we can kind of see it with, to a lesser extent with Sacramento. So it depends on like the ego clash there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Nuggets is another team because they're in on Zach LaVine. He does have beef with the Nuggets. You remember the fight with Markieff Morris and the Jokic brothers and all that stuff that went down. But again, like if they want to move off of MPJ and you bring in a guy like him to replace a guy like who's not an elevated, like he's way better than KCP. But I mean like the more like defensive side of things there, who can also again take over a game, takes away the shooting though. That's going to be the main issue there. If you do move forward of MPJ's
pressure's
contract.
be on Jokic and Murray to really hit a
Jamal
shot.
Murray, obviously in general, who's not having the greatest of years, they're saying that his contract is bad. They might want to move off of it. Maybe this is the situation. I don't know. But the last team I do want to talk about is before we close it out here is the Phoenix Suns. And at first glance, I'm like, how the hell are they going to make this happen? Right? If they wanted to keep Beal. But the rumors are it might have to be Beal thrown in.
It will have to be.
But no, I mean, yeah.
There's
but
no way they're gonna make almost max
that means
contracts.
like
for him.
they're gonna have no bench. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's all on Bradley Beal because Washington gave him that no trade clause. So if he does not want to leave, and they want him, then they got to make a package around a 3-team trade package or Nurkic, who Suns fans absolutely hate.
Yeah.
Like around him and a bunch of those guys, right? But to me, Phoenix does make sense if you get rid of Beal. That means I think you have a consistent lineup of Tyus, Booker, Butler, Durant, and whoever your center is, whether it's Nurkic for now or whoever you decide to bring in for Nurkic, right? So like it fits that way as well. Again, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, both of these guys are the most unselfish superstars in history. It was, like I said, Draymond Green was the factor of Kevin Durant leaving, Steph Curry.
Durant and Curry make it work.
Yeah,
They're
right.
gonna
And
make
then
it
Kevin
work.
Durant makes it work with any star,
Yeah, he's done
superstar,
it.
star in the league. He makes it. Him and Booker are fine this year. It's just everybody around kind of like that. We saw it in the Nets, him and Harden or him and Kyrie were fine.
Harden is the one who
Ended up
and
leaving,
Kyrie.
but like
and
Durant-
Kyrie's thing. Yeah.
Then Kyrie had drama, but they were like when they were playing together.
They were playing really good.
They were playing
yeah.
good. So Kevin, he'll fit there. I have no issues with that. I don't see Devin Booker being like who needs the ball like Luka-esque way more, right? So I feel like if the Suns can get this done, yes, it's collective of talent and you gotta see the egos. And I did say that we need to be careful when you put this, but I feel like the fit here still works the best amongst the superstars. Like better, like it fits better than Dallas in
Because
my opinion.
it's been proven, right?
Yeah.
Like Booker is at the end of the day is playing with Durant. So Booker is coming into it like, okay, no, I'm playing with a superstar, I don't have to take over the ball every single possession like how I used to when I didn't have anyone.
Yeah.
Right. And the Durant's already been through it like 3-4 different times. The master of super teams, you could call them. And then the thing is, they will figure it out with Jimmy Butler. I'm very confident that. What I'm not confident in is will Jimmy Butler figure it out
Listen,
himself.
I think Jimmy Butler will figure it out. Especially, he's gonna be motivated now. Wherever he ends up going, I think Jimmy Butler. People like even we're kind of making the conception that he's not a team player. I believe he is a team player. Like I really do believe that he'll make the right play. He will make the big.
That is
play.
true. That is true. But the thing is the longevity of it.
Oh yeah, that's different.
That's the question, right?
The contract
like how much you want to give up for a guy that you
might be there for
potentially in 1 year might start butting heads with you,
or it might be gone in 6 months.
Yeah, in
Right.
general, yeah. That's also a thing.
I don't know if he's
like it's gonna take a deal at the end of the day. Like Pat Riley's not a dumbass in terms of like letting him go for absolutely nothing either. At the end of the day, he knows.
Some people are saying Pat Riley needs to move on though.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I mean, like the reason why the Heat have been so good is obviously one, their culture, but two, they've been doing solid business at the end of the day, right?
But even to that extent, like once that Big Three era ended, if it wasn't for Jimmy Butler, they would have been still meh.
Oh, obviously, that makes sense.
And to me, with that, like with Jimmy Butler in general, in the Miami case, he didn't butt head with the teammates like he did in Minnesota. He butted heads with the front office mainly.
That is true. Yeah, that is fair.
Because he wants to get paid. And I don't blame the guy. I feel like Miami should have taken care of him. And I don't think Miami fans really hate him because they know what he brought to Miami.
Yeah, he brought something.
Like he brought like joy back. He brought like the hard work back and all that. And that's all he cares about. I don't think that's a wrong thing from Jimmy Butler. He's not like a lazy ass himself. He's trying to preach
he's a hard
accountability.
player. That's why like when you're
It kind of gives me JT Miller vibes a little
when
bit.
you're looking at it this year, right? In the last few games, him being this nonchalant guy on the court knows like how pissed off he is at the end of the day.
So to close it out, to flip now to Miami, they are moving on from him. What do you see Miami being like in the future? Now, like, yes, at the moment they're 6th seed. That is with 22 games of judgment.
Right? Like that's what they were when the LeBron guys left. They weren't like necessarily like absolutely garbage. They were still decent when LeBron left.
Yeah.
Like obviously they weren't the top level contender team.
Until Jimmy got there. Yeah.
Until Jimmy Butler got there, and now that's gonna be the same situation. At the end of the day, we're looking at the Eastern Conference. The Raptors are absolutely garbage. The Wizards are absolutely garbage, and the Nets are pretty garbage. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a team.
Charlotte's struggling. Detroit's actually leveled up a little bit.
And with the playing spot, it's not hard to fight for a playoff spot, and especially in the East. And with their collection of talent, with Bam and Hero, it's still much better than what the rest of the East is in terms of like the bottom of the barrel. So they're not going to be bottom of the barrel. Yeah. They're going to be in a similar situation where like. They're gonna be mid.
They're in the indie
just
range
barely.
right now.
Yeah, kind of the indie range. Playing
Indie, Atlanta.
Yeah,
like
exactly that range basically.
But yeah, no, like we'll see what they do. Maybe they do get another. If it is Bradley Beal, we'll see. If it is Jamal Murray, we'll see. If it is a 3-team package,
depends on It just depends on the trade now.
It depends on the trade
what they get him back. What they get back.
Again, I think it might be time for Pat Riley to move on a little bit because I feel like we preach Heat culture, and it is there. But to me personally, at some point you got to see some results. And with Jimmy Butler now leaving, do you believe enough in Tyler Hero?
You're not getting the results.
Yeah,
it's simple as that. There's no belief. You're not getting the results.
But to conclude this whole thing, we both agree, right? Golden State, get on the line.
Exactly.
If you want to be serious about contending this year and maybe even in future, the next couple of years during the Steph and Draymond window.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
Pretty much.
But yeah, comment down below what you guys think. The Jimmy Butler era is going to officially come to an end in Miami. Where do you like to see him down below? We say Golden State. What do you guys say? Let us know what other teams we should be talking about in the NBA. Hey, we talk NHL, we talk NFL. Let us know down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 1,000 and we are about 40 subscribers away. We will love to hit this by the end of this calendar month here as well. Follow our socials link down below. Audio listeners, make sure you guys rate the podcast 5 stars, review it, and download the podcast whenever you get the chance. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.